Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm glad you're with me this Monday morning. We've got a big show lined up, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today, 87, low 76. I got a little 11-degree window right there, and the water temperature is right around 87 degrees. Hopefully this week we won't have all the rain we had last week. We just had a lot of rain the last week or two. It's just been a lot of rain. If you live on a dirt road, I don't have to tell you that. Take a look at our Monday moon phase brought to us by Sandhill Seafood up on Highway 77, home of good fresh catfish. Looking at today is August the 20th. We're a little bit over half a moon. In fact, we're looking at, if you're on the weekend, we got a full moon coming up Saturday. They call it a Saturday night and Sunday night. And really, on Monday night, they call it full moon. So we have 3 nights of full moon coming up in August. So we're going to have some, this weekend, a lot of activity as far as nightlife in the outdoors. Take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today's good tides, but the rest of the week is great tides. Today we're looking at a high tide flat right here at 5 o'clock on the nose, 5 o'clock a high tide, and a low tide at 4:22. And we're going to have some 2-foot ranges this week, so it's going to be really good, some really good winds coming in as far as offshore breeze and high tides. And also gator season opens up this week, the first phase of gator hunt season, and may get to go on one of those. We'll just keep it posted. So be aware of what's going on, and marine forecast out of south to southeast at 5 to 10. Take a break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You know, I first started doing this show talking about the history of and our heritage here in the Florida Panhandle along with fishing and boat building, and we've done a book on it. And on occasion, I like to throw some more history out at you, and people have always been complimentary of it. So I always like to do a little segment. I would like to do like once a month, do a little 5-minute segment on history, on our heritage. And I sometimes don't get around to do it once a month, but I was thinking about it last night, and I just wanted to put one together. A little 5-minute segment, and so many people jump out at me on this book and all. I'm gonna do, this one's going to be about, out of my book, this is out of C.J. Bryan, the story of C.J. Bryan, this guy right here. He was just a fascinating character. Came down here in 1908 from North Carolina, and he opened up the very first fish house. And what he did in the fishing industry was remarkable, because he would go into the Western Union office, and the first one actually to send any kind of telegrams, he would send them to restaurants and all, saying he's got a load of red snapper, how many of y'all want? Then they'd put them on the train. He was the first one ever to do that in this whole Panhandle area, including Fort Walton and Apalachicola and all that. So remarkable character. Of course, he passed away a good while back, but I was able, I want to show you too, when I was doing the book, I went into my folder. I'll see this folder right here. This folder says C.J. Bryan. And this is how I did the book, just for your information. I'd have a folder, and anytime I ran across, I'd go through all the newspapers and information. Anytime I ran across, I would just copy it and put it in a folder, and then when I was ready to do the story, I counted last night, there are 57 pages that I had on C.J. Bryan. And it's fascinating, and I've read every word of them. And this article right here by Frank Pericola, and the old timers remember Frank Pericola. He was the editor here at the newspaper. He worked for the Atlanta newspaper, but he wrote a story one time on the most unforgettable character he'd ever met, and it was C.J. Bryan, and that gave me great insight. And story after story, he was caught. Here's a story about, he was caught out in a storm. C.J. Bryan went out with his crew in the September 1929 hurricane. He was out with a crew. They got caught in a hurricane and was disabled for 4 days, and didn't think they were going to make it. They prayed and they put on life jackets, so big old one, but they made it back. And a fascinating story, and on about the things he did. In the book, I actually gave him, I was adding it up last night, I gave him like 6 pages which is a lot for this book on the research and all. But one of the things he did, here, the boat that came in on the Galatea, the storm was so bad it actually snapped the wooden mast. The wooden mast actually was snapped off and all. I got a couple of pictures I'll show you. What happened? He made a fortune. He came down to Florida in 1908, because he was actually, his brother-in-law was William Lynn, who founded Lynn Haven, and told him, here's a sentence that he told him, I got him down here. He said, CJ, you can catch 2 red snapper on 1 hook. There's so many red snapper down here. And that's what brought him down here. So there's one of the red snapper stories. So he got down here and started that fishing business. And he commissioned the Gay family up in Lynn Haven, where the country club is, had him build his first boat up there in that little bayou in the country club where right there where the country clubhouse is. They built, the Gay family were good boat builders. Then he commissioned Robert Studebaker to build the Princess, which is out the boat I put right here, and he just had an amazing guy. He made a fortune. But he lost it in 1929. The storm wiped out his fleet. He had a depression coming in, but he just bounced back. He was successful at so many things he did. After that, here's a little sandwich shop, and I haven't seen this in any history books and all. This came from the family. He had this little sandwich shop on Harrison Avenue, and that was a real popular place back then. And then they built a house at 1010 Beach Drive. That's where Balboa comes in, right there on Beach Drive, where Balboa comes in on Beach Drive. And all those stones, check out the stones. All those stones, he had them shipped down here on the train from North Carolina, because he loved those rocks up in North Carolina, all those original. Here's the front porch of his wife, and I just got fascinated. Is that not a classic scene of the 1920s and 30s on Beach Drive? And see the stone columns there? I just get fascinated with all this history. I'm going to move through it rapidly. Here's inside the house, that stone, that North Carolina stone. That's beautiful, isn't it? And look here in the center page. Y'all recognize what that is? A megaphone, or RCA megaphone. I don't know if he had a radio trying to talk to his, in that desk there, could talk to his boats, whatever, wicker furniture, on and on. This picture right here, let me tell you about this picture. That's his daughter. That was his youngest daughter. Gail and I got up on a Saturday morning and drove to Jacksonville to interview her. She was a little leery at first because she didn't know about it. It's hard. He didn't have any family left here. So we went up, we tracked some family up in North Carolina, talked to people and all, and said, well, his daughter lives in Jacksonville. So we talked to her on the phone, and Gail talked to her. So anyway, we drove down there, spent the day with her. Fascinating lady, and I got a lot of stories from her, how when she was a little girl when her dad was lost at sea, and she remembers her sister playing on the piano, "Near My God to Thee," hoping her dad would come back, and how joyful it was when her dad came back because they thought he was lost at sea. And it was a heartwarming story. She's passed away now, but that was in 1998 or 99 that we got to talk to her and all, and just a sweet lady. So that's how. Another thing too, y'all see this right here? This is sheet music. Called In My Aeroplane, music by C.J. Bryan on St. Andrews Bay, right here. Music by voices by Sally Kelly Dean, but music by C.J. Bryan. He was so talented. Sailboat, he loved to sail. I ran across these. I don't know if any of these left. This from 1930s and 40s, so this is part of my collection of history. Loved to sail, had his own little sailboat. When he was 65 years old, he decided to get his pilot's license. He got a pilot license at 65. On the downside of that, his son loved to fly, and his son crashed his plane in the 80s and all over in St. Augustine and lost his life. But a fascinating character. That's why when I was doing the book, I just got involved in all these side stories of these characters, and I probably had an overkill as far as everyone I researched. I just wanted to find more and more and more, and that's what I put in the book. And one of the hardest things I had to do in the book was to get it concise and all. Same way you do on a TV show, you got to get everything down, get it concise and all. And the last part of the book, the last part of the story though, on C.J. Bryan, it comes from his daughter. The picture I just showed you, she talks about her dad and all being lost at sea. So that's C.J. Bryan, an unforgettable character that's in the book right here. So I just wanted to share it. I saw a little history story for this month. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I want to say good morning to Scotty. I'm sorry, to Sport Fraser. Sport Fraser over there around the Niceville area. He's a big fisherman. I understand he's an awesome fisherman. Appreciate you watching the show every day, Sport. And I love that name, Sport Fraser over there. And Niceville is an old historical community too. They haven't gotten their due diligence as far as their recognition as far as being part of our heritage. I don't know if anybody's done a book on their old fishing industry over there, but it was a find some good outdoorsmen in that Niceville area, and that Okaloosa, Walton County area. So good morning to you. Appreciate you watching it. And net making, I'll get questions on people how to make nets and everything. The only old timer I have left still, making them on a regular basis that I know of is Bill McNeil. And his number, here's his number right here, 872-9308. Bill McNeil, I've interviewed him and he's made all my nets. But if you want to get one, we don't know how many more he's going to make. He just makes them one at a time, and that's what he says he's going to do. But be aware of that. Now, I got a picture here. Here we go. This is when the buck you're hunting is friends with a beaver. He's going to cut down your tree stand. I thought that was pretty good right there. Okay, but anyway, before I get to this next set of pictures, last weekend went up there to Tennessee and spent some time and spent some time in the woods. And we had to help Walter and the kids. We were sort of marking off an area with flags and all. Of course, we do a lot of walking and love walking in the woods and all. So we got it. But anyway, the downside of it is the red bugs or chiggers that you're going to get. And I got into them. And one of the big reasons I've hiked the Appalachian Trail before. They're not too bad there because trail is wide open. You sort of and got room to walk without rubbing up against the trees. And the culprit, when you rub up against the bushes and leaves, that's when they get off on your pants legs and your shoes and all and crawl up and get on your skin and all. So in that area there, the woods, we were walking around with a machete, knocking things down, and you know how you do stuff like that. So I got into them really bad. You might have saw me on the show last week. I was scratching some, and I'm still itching a little bit, even though it's been a week later. But anyway, on these insect bites, it's fascinating how little insect can irritate you. I just want to go through them. Now, I didn't get into ticks, but I thought it'd be a good time now to share with you some of the same thing. A lot of things but we just take it for granted that the ticks, okay? I'm not going to show you 29 slides of ticks. We know what ticks can do, and we know about that. Okay, here's a great picture right here, how they will actually crawl into your skin, and they go in head first. And when you get these ticks out, you've got to get the head out. If you leave the head in there, a lot of people leave the head in there, and that's how you get infections. And you know how bad they are on dogs. And I used to pick them off my dogs on a regular basis just from them going in the woods. And that sac there gets bigger and bigger with blood. So tick bites, and they can be a problem, especially if you're allergic. And of course, you can get Lyme disease too. Okay, and that's how, if you see that sign right there, you get Lyme disease. All right, the black widows, I never had much trouble with these, but you see that red on the, if it's black all over, red marks on them, these are poisonous. And that red mark looks like an hourglass. And they're about 1/3 of an inch long, and they can be fatal. And there's a little spider bite, it almost looks like a little snake bite, but you see it's very small, and it just come in there, boom, boom, just like that. And it's a stabbing pain, it says. And these are ugly, and they have a nasty bite. The brown recluse spider, and they're ugly, and they can reduce. They have a venom in them. It's toxic. They can do some damage, and that's their bite too. It sort of spreads out, and it can like an ulcer a little bit. That's a brown recluse. Fleas, and you know about fleas. They're not fatal or anything, but man, if you're around your dogs a lot, they're not treated, they're gonna get all of you. Okay, and here's flea bites. I don't know how this person got so many flea bites, but they got their share of them. So just get them rid of the fleas on your pets. There's enough stuff out now, you don't have to worry about it. And of course, the bee, the wasp, hornet, yellow jacket, all these flying insects, they can really sting you. And when they sting you, they'll actually lose their stinger and die. A lot of them will. But a wasp and a hornet, they don't lose a stinger, but a bee is the one that loses stingers. It's painful, and again, you can have an allergic reaction to them. And on the left there, you see that when it's sort of swollen up, and they got a little penetrating in right in the dead center there, that's pretty well been some kind of yellow jacket sting or bee or wasp. But most of the time, you can see them. And you get a bit around the face, that's really swelling up and all. Ants, man, they're irritating. I know you've gotten in them too, and especially when you're doing yard work and all that. All of a sudden you get on, there's these fire ants, and they're all over the South here, and they'll latch into the skin, and they sting from the stomach. And it does have venom, but the stinger is actually in the stomach, not in the mouth, where a lot of people think. And it's just you can see it right there in the center of the page. That's the sting right there, the stinger. And then you have these those little whelps, little pus-filled sacks, and you can put coal on them and all that, or they'll bust. A lot of times you scrub them and all. So and again, that could be if you allergies and all that. I have one of our granddaughters allergic to these things. And of course, here's the ugly one, the red bugs, the chiggers, and they're the young ones are the ones that really bite you. They only die on humans in their juvenile form. The bites are painless but very itchy, and they really are itchy. And all kind of solutions and all. It goes back what we use, of course, calamine lotion. It's hard to beat calamine lotion, and you see the bites here. And actually, they only last a few days. They've been with me about a week, but they do leave these whelps and everything on you, and it's just aggravating. And you don't want them to get infected by scratching too much, especially with fingernails and all. One or two more scorpions. Lately, over the past few years, there's been a lot of scorpions around in the south and in the west, but they're not. It used to be unusual to see these scorpions, but now there are a lot more of them you see. And you want to get medical help right away if you see a scorpion stings you. And the last one, you know about the deer flies or yellow flies, or they're all kinds of different black flies, but same thing. They're just and they can spread a little disease too. So anyway, that's the insects and the diseases they can cause, and it's just aggravating living here. That's one of the disadvantages. But all throughout the South, I was up in Tennessee in the woods and got attacked by all them. Then I came back here. Well, the week before I went up there, I was talking about all the mosquitoes with the West Nile virus, and it's just something we have to put up with. And you look at all these old pictures. When I started finding all these old pictures of these outdoorsmen on the boats and everything up in the bayous and the bays, they all had on long pants and long coats and everything and hats. And it was simply because it was just trying to keep, and not just the mosquitoes and all this, all the bugs and everything they had to keep away. Can you imagine how bad it was back in those days, how bad the insects were? They didn't have alt or anything like that. So anyway, it rings true today. You want to wear long sleeves and long pants and all as much as you can when you're in the outdoors, but it's a lot more lightweight now than it was back in the day. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Let's take a look at our fishing game time brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe, looking 8:17 to 10:17 this morning, and tonight 8:41 to 10:41. So those are some important times right there. And we were talking about Labor Day, folks. It's 2 weeks from today. It's amazing how this summer is about flown by. And Labor Day usually signifies the end of the summer. And so we got about 2 weeks left to go catching some tagged redfish, and I haven't had a chance. All the other stuff I've been doing, haven't had a chance to go catch them, but I try to catch them between now and Labor Day. Got 2 weeks, so go ahead and start planning some good outdoor activities for Labor Day. And also wanted to mention that the MBAR, the tournament's coming up this coming weekend. The MBARA, Mexico Beach, will be having their big tournament. Seasons of Hope will be right here with the speckled trout tournament and other things. And that's two nice tournaments that are doing good causes. So check those out. And also, I got to think about that. We're talking about MBARA. We showed all those pyramids and different structures and everything. And that's the key. That's the key to catching fish, is fishing around some kind of structure. And we'll talk about it. And I remember back when I was growing up, we had what we call these irrigation ponds, these farm ponds. We call them farm ponds. And every farm in the country, they were tobacco farms, but every one of them had dug a pond many, many years ago for irrigation. A big old pump there, and they had big old pipes, and sometimes we'd have to lay those pipes, and it was for irrigation. This is many, many years ago, to irrigate the tobacco crop that we worked in. It was a big operation at each farm. So, but those ponds were big, and they had some, over the years, they got stocked with bass, and they just had some huge bass in them, and a bunch of brim. So my dad had permission to fish in about any of them we wanted to, because he knew a lot of the farmers and people were good about that kind of stuff. So we got to fish them anyway. What I want to talk about is structure. And all those, in the old days, those guys would just throw some old tree limbs, especially an oak tree. An oak tree limb, they'd throw it on the edge over there, and that little structure is what attracted the brim and the bass and all. They were way ahead of their time as far as structure. I got it thinking about, the pyramid is the same principle. I got some pictures here. This is off the FWC website. They're actually doing the same thing. They're deploying this is down in Lake Harris. They are deploying some structure, but don't that look like tree limbs? identical. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, get some structure. And you see the drawing there. And of course, here they are doing it. They've got coordinates and all where you can go to them now. But these are made out of like plastic, a lot of hard plastic, I understand. I have not physically seen one, but I like the idea of what they're doing there. And let's see. In fact, here they are putting it together. You see, they sort of stick them in, it looks like big pieces of PVC. And so you can see where they're high, but that sort of replicates a tree limb. And here's a bunch of them right here. Okay, I just thought this was really cool, them doing this kind of stuff and going out. And here they are actually taking, now this is the old-fashioned way. I didn't know they were still doing this, but look at the concrete blocks. And what kind of tree is that? That's oak limbs. That's a green oak limb right there. And they're actually doing that oak limb stay there a good while. And so you can do that if you have a big pond or something, or a big area, or something, anything to attract the fish and all. I just thought it was really cool. And then they put gravel. They're starting to put gravel now around these docks and all for the bottom. Put some kind of gravel and that helps them a lot too as far as spawning and all when they brush out this little area. So this is interesting outdoor stuff. All of those things are important, but structure. We go way back to, we're talking about the car bodies and things like that, and even freshwater has a place to do it, saltwater has a place to do it, and all different variety. You can put in, get back to freshwater, you can put like little clumps of limbs over here, a big old structure over here, but just have some places, and I guarantee you, it's going to help your fishing a lot. And when these bass fishermen go out on Lake Seminole, they're looking for structure. And when they go out anywhere, Lake Talcott, wherever, they're looking for structure. And in river fishing, they're looking for the river turns and something behind it. So anyway, that's just some good fishing points. Enjoyed doing the show today. A lot of good stuff, a lot of history, a lot of fishing points and all, and good pictures and all. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to see y'all tomorrow. Got a big week planned, all kind of exciting things. And you be sure, enjoy the day at work and be good to your fellow worker, and always try to help them out if you can. Do something good for your fellow man, and you have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.